Hi, Jan.
Hello, how are you, Paulo?
Fine. And you?
Good. I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with me. I'm very
Absolutely.
pleased to meet you. Okay, let's gonna start. So, a friend of the family, tell us a true story, your story, of a family whose daughter is kidnapped by a supposed cold family friend, Robert Berchtold. Over the years, there have been books written by your mother, the documentary Abduct in Plain Sight, and now this TV show. How did the idea of make this new show come to life?
It was because I never felt like they told the whole story, like the context. It needed to have more time to tell the story so that other people, the reason I wanted to do it is so that other people would see themselves in my story. Because one in three women or girls and one in four boys are sexually assaulted, abused, raped. There's incest in their home. They are going through this trauma today, not back in the 70s. Today, it's a terrible high number, much worse than the numbers for the pandemic that we went through or cancer. It's one in three girls, one in four boys. That's terrible. That's a terrible number. So there are literally 2 billion people that are walking around in the world who are carrying this kind of trauma or who are being abused right now. And when you think about that, I was like, we have to tell this story so that people will see themselves and be able to go, oh, I see something in my own child or my niece or nephew, I see something that I think is wrong, or this happened to me, and I've got to tell someone and get my own healing going because my life has a few disasters going on, and I think it's connected to this trauma that I suffered as a young person. And so that was the reason I really wanted to tell the story in a longer format. And it's really well done. People will be riveted. And then you'll go, oh my gosh, I remember something that happened to me. It's still in there and it's still festering. It's like cancer that I've ignored for all these years. Now it's time for me to get help so that I can be happier and healthier and I won't pass it on to the next generation.
Wow, it's a very important project to you. And you had the courage to participate in this project, which basically relives a traumatic episode in your life. How does it feel to see your story captured on the screen?
It's there are many emotions that I have, but honestly, the most overriding one is I'm so happy that it's out there, that it's because it makes what happened to me have a reason to, if you can help somebody else by telling your story for me, that makes all of it worth it, I guess, is a good way to say it. So it was so well done. The actors were so good. The writing team and the producing team, Nick and Alex and all the people I worked with as just such good people wanting to tell the story to really help other people. And that's what it's doing. So for me, it was a glorious and and a cathartic experience as well. I mean, I don't get really triggered by my story, but on episode 3, where he was, you know, Birch told is telling Jan about these aliens and she's crying and she's so scared. That would looked so real. It was so me. I was watching myself and I was just so angry at that grown man who would do that and put that kind of fear into a little person's mind and heart. And then for the next 4 years of my life, I believed it and I thought they were watching me all the time. And it caused so much fear throughout my life. I had to do so many different things to overcome all of that. And it just made me mad. I started screaming at the TV when I was with my friends and family watching the third episode. I got so mad, but that was a good thing. That was a good sign that Jan has come to a point where she's very empowered. And yes, was I afraid to face him in court? Of course, but the mama tiger just wrapped up the little girl inside me and said, "You're okay. I've got this." And I'm very proud of those moments. And I feel like I'm a much more empowered person. I have taken my life back. I am trying very hard to help others, and I want people to tell their stories. I don't want you to keep it a secret. That's a secret that just festers like a terrible sliver under your skin, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. You got to get it out. Somehow tell your story to somebody that will believe you and then support you in your healing journey.
Thank you for that. Tell me about the cast. There's a bunch of great actors, Jake Lacy, Colin Hanks, Anna Paquin. Do you feel the actors were able to capture the personality of each character correctly? They ask you or your family for any recommendation?
Yes, actually, they were all absolutely phenomenal. And yes, they captured all of us on some like level where they don't know us that well, but it really embodied. And they did ask questions. They wanted to talk to me and my mom. My father was passed away, but I was able to send Colin some videos of my dad. He was so funny and so had all these fun sayings, and he related because in his family they have some of those same sorts of things. So they really took it on. They wanted to do it right. But I also wrote them all letters to say, you don't have to be exactly like my family members to tell the story. You do it your way, because I believe you're all so genius in your abilities to bring these real people to life, and but you do it your way, and here's a few things about them you should know, and that's it. And then they really just took it on, and they were so good. And watching Hendrix as young Jan, and then as the tween Jan, McKenna, it was like looking at myself. They were so good. They were just so very good and so nice to work with.
And what about your character? You play Jan's psychologist. This was a real figure in your history, or it's a
Yes.
whole new character? Tell me about it.
No, that's a real person. Yeah, that everybody in the whole series, it's all based on real characters, and some of them have some combined people. There were a few characters that are kind of combined, but that was a real therapist. I really drew the picture. I have the real picture to this day of drawing the picture of putting a roof over my family's head, and so that was based on somebody that the court ordered me to see a psychologist. I think she was a psychologist. And so when I had the opportunity to play that person and to talk to young Jan and to listen to her and to go, yeah, she's in there, she's struggling, but she's going to be okay. And then to say that to my father, Colin Hanks, have a scene with him and say, she's going to be all right. That was like the high point of the whole filming process for me, because it was like I knew I was going to be okay, because here I am doing what I'm doing. And yet they didn't know then. Would Jan at 14 be okay? But I knew inside. And so that was a really remarkable experience to play that part in the series. It was wonderful.
Jan Broberg, I want to thank you for your time. I thank you for make this show to life. What would you say to families who could be living something similar?
What I say to them is, not only can you survive, but you can heal and you can thrive in your life, but it takes work. You have to work at repairing your family. You have to take the time to seek out a therapist, to do the healing things that we scientifically know can heal trauma. So you have to find someone that's trauma informed to help you or to help your child or your entire family heal. My family was so willing to go to therapy with me, to talk and listen and not freak out, because then the child thinks they have to take care of you. It's not that you need to go, oh, I'm going to kill this person. No, you listen to what happened. You put the person behind bars if you possibly can, and you are there for your child to listen and to believe them. But it can become something that brings you all closer together. I'm very close to my family and my friends and the people that supported me along the way and were there during these terrible years. And they're still close to me to this day, but they listened. They believed me. That's the most important thing, especially for men. They have so few people that they ever feel like they can tell their story to, and yet it's so common. And people need to listen and believe them and then help them get the healing that they need, because women, it seems like people will listen, but with men, they feel like they have to hide. And that's so unhealthy. What will happen is you'll end up passing that abuse along in some way by being, many things happen when you are abused and you don't have anybody to help you heal. You just try to do it yourself. You either become, you drink, you do drugs, you end up, you have all kinds of outcomes to try to medicate what's happening to you inside that are not healthy. Get the actual help you need and find somebody to listen and to believe you and hear your story. It's really important. That's what my final parting words would be.
Thank you again. I hope you have a great day, and I
Thank
hope
you.
we can talk again.
I hope
Take
so
care.
too. You can find me on social media. I always respond to people. I would do other interviews. Please keep in touch. Thank you.